Chris Robinson, who comes from Bedfordshire in England, was born in 1951 and has premonitions which come to him in dreams, which led him to predict future events. He started to dream of these events at age 35 and has no reason why they began. The dreams come to him as a code. For example, dogs represent terrorists, and fish mean terrorists about to be caught, and snow means the situation is imminent. Chris was examined by Prof Gary Schwartz from the University of Arizona and had lucid dreams the night before the actual tests he was to undertake the following day, and he scored 10 out of 10 on every test he was put through. Chris predicted the 1988 Lockerbie Air Disaster in Scotland, the 1986 Chernobyl Nuclear Disaster, and the 1997 death of Princess Diana. The following are more examples of Chris's uncanny ability and his 5 terrifying predictions that came true. Number 5. Terrorist attack on airbase. Chris Robinson approached officers at the gate of RAF Stanmore, North London, in May 1990, forewarning that a bomb would explode at the base. Mr. Robinson was questioned by the RAF police about his psychic premonition and later released without charge. But just over a month later, a bomb that had been hidden in a rucksack exploded at the RAF base. No one was hurt during the attack, which was blamed at the time on the IRA. In a statement to a magazine, the RAF police confirmed that a man had visited the site, and a few weeks later a terrorist bomb attack occurred at the airbase. Number 4. Air crash at air show. Chris had dreamed of a crash at an air show and decided to travel to the actual show. On arriving, he stood in a crowd of people who were shocked to see 2 Russian jets collide in mid-air. He said to the people that it's okay because the pilots will parachute to safety. He knew this to be true because he had recently dreamt of the event and saw that the pilots had survived the crash and had parachuted out of their planes. He had called the police to warn them, but they had doubted him and were unsure whether to take him seriously or not. Number 3. 9/11. Chris Robinson claims to have had a nightmare on August 5th, 2001, about a plane crashing into a large building in New York City. He described being in the plane that was hijacked and then flown into 2 large tower blocks. He wrote about the chaos and the many people who died in the tragedy. At the time of the dream, Chris Robinson was visiting the United States to undergo precognitive experiments with Professor Gary Schwartz at the University of Arizona. When Chris Robinson returned to the UK, he had increasingly intense dreams about the plane crashing into the buildings in New York City. He continued to record these dreams and to make drawings of the buildings. He told the police about the dreams, and on September 9th, 2001, he wrote a letter to the US Embassy in London to warn them of a serious threat to the country. In 2002, the Secret Service took him in for further experiments. Their findings have never been published. Number 2. 2005 London terrorist bombings. When the terrorists struck London on July 7th, 2005, Chris Robinson has seen it all in his dreams. And for 3 weeks leading up to the bombings, he repeatedly dreamt of snow and dogs, as was his usual dream code. On the morning of July 1st, he emailed his parapsychologist friend, Dr. Hearn, and said, "Last night I was in a tunnel and there were 2 explosions, lots of soot and smoke, and there are huge dogs. This could be London." 3 days later, he emailed Dr. Hearn again. "I've had another dream with huge dogs. I'm sure there's going to be a terrorist attack very soon." On July 6th, Chris woke up with memories of his most disturbing dream yet, and he recalled, "I saw even more horror in the dream." The next night, as he watched the news, he was devastated to see the London bombings. Chris said that he did let the authorities know, but for some reason there was little anyone could do to prevent the attacks. Yet after all the uncanny predictions Chris has made over the years, why were they not able to thwart this tragedy? And maybe it could have been prevented. Number 1. Dream Detective. Working with the police and intelligence officers. Chris came to the attention of Scotland Yard in 1984 and has had regular contact with either police or intelligence officers from Customs and National Criminal Intelligence. He has been able to provide them with warnings of serious crimes and terrorist activities on the UK mainland. Police officers for whom he has worked have confirmed in public that they evaluate the content of his dream messages and have monitored him for many years. He was able to provide the police and government agencies with information that would happen later in the week on robberies, murders and terrorist attacks. Because of the way he would come about his information, dreams, the police gave him the nickname Dream Detective. To this day, Chris still works with authorities.